All content is publicly sourced and used under the USA Fair Use and UK Fair Dealing Guidelines. The things I say are strictly my opinion. Good evening, everyone. It's the Bizzy Bee with the Royal Tea. It is the 18th of November. Happy Wednesday. Hope you've all had a great day. Let me ask you a question, something that's really puzzling me. Maybe you all can help me out with it. If your mother has been to prison, does that mean that you're an expert on knowing what prison is like and that you can speak for the prison experience? Really been boggling my mind today. Maybe you all can answer that question. I don't think so, but we'll see. Oh yeah, something I wanted to tell you all. I've known this a couple of weeks. I can't believe I keep forgetting. That's why I put this picture here, to remind myself. You all remember a few weeks ago, the Harkles released this picture of themselves, and everyone was talking about. I talked about how that pose that she does, that she's doing right there. It was all over Twitter about how she uses that all over and over and over and over and you know what I'm saying. Okay, well, you remember everyone was making a stink about in this portrait picture. She was wearing Diana's Cartier watch that Diana received for her 21st birthday that her father gave to her. Now, the rag mags that fawn over the Harkles were saying that she was wearing this, and a lot of people in the comments of my videos were saying that no, she wasn't. She bought this on eBay. She doesn't have that watch, etc., etc. Well, all right, this is what I know that I forgot to tell you. A few weeks ago, I fell asleep watching a YouTube video. It was one of those real royalty documentaries. It was about the royal wives of Windsor. It was a documentary about Fergie and Diana. Well, I fell asleep while it was on, and of course the TV was on autoplay. So during the middle of the night, I woke up and there was a documentary about Diana, and it was just Paul Burrell, by Diana's butler, talking, and it was incredibly long. It was not really a documentary. It was just him talking for what seemed like forever. But anyway, he said in this that after Diana passed away, he met William and Harry at Kensington Palace, and they went to Diana's safe, and they asked Paul, one thing that you want, you can have of Diana's, whatever it is, anything. And he said that he wanted that Cartier watch of Diana's that her father gave to her for her 21st birthday. And he said that Harry and William popped open the safe and gave it to him. So according to Paul Burrell, he has possession of Diana's Cartier watch. So that can't be it that Smegs is wearing here. If what he's saying... Oh, sorry, I'm talking with my hands again. I get animated. if what he's saying can be believed, which I don't know, you tell me, can it? Then he has the watch, not Smegs. So, there you go. Sorry, I should have remembered to tell you that. That was important. My. Thank you to Elizabeth R., and I do not mean Elizabeth Regina. Long live the Queen. I mean Elizabeth R., who left me a tip via PayPal. I appreciate you. And we certainly appreciate Elizabeth Regina as well. For today's royal history tidbit, we have Adelaide. She was the queen consort of William IV. When I was looking this up, I found that a lot of things are named after her. And she wasn't married to a really well-known monarch. I mean, William IV, he was kind of like, the placeholder between George IV, or, I'm sorry, all the Georges, and Victoria. I mean, when you think about famous monarchs, he's not one of the first ones that pops to your mind. And she especially not. The only time I'd ever seen her was in the movie The Young Victoria. That was the most I really knew about her. But anyway, it just goes to show that you don't have to be the most famous person in the world to be respected and have things named after you admired, right? Okay, there you go. Adelaide was beloved by the British people for her piety, modesty, charity, in her tragic childbirth history. Her husband had 10 children with his actress mistress, but he didn't have any legitimate heirs to succeed him. A large portion of her household income was given to charitable causes. She refused to have women of questionable virtue attend her court. The clerk of the Privy Council, Charles Greville, wrote, "The Queen is a prude and refuses to have the ladies come décolleté to her parties." I probably said that completely wrong. I'm so sorry about that. For today's dumpster fire that is the Harkles, let's take a look. Do you all remember my last video? I was talking about this dum-dum that's coming out with a new book about Smegs, and his name is Sean Smith. I remember it because his names start with not two letters. Both of his names start with the same letter. Sean Smith S, Meghan Markle S, like Shepard Smith S. Those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head. But anyway, he's doing some more talking, and he's saying some really crazy things now. Let's take a look at what he's saying. Okay, so Smegs was escaped prisoner who had to adjust to daylight of freedom after Megxit. So she had to adjust to daylight after she left the palace. Maybe that's why she was photographed in those huge sunglasses that are available via Meghan's mirror right now. Smegs was like an escaped prisoner after her departure from the front line. She had to adjust to the daylight of freedom, according to a new biography. Oh Lord, when it said she was like an escaped prisoner, I was thinking of something that happened years and years ago in my previous life. Not that I did, of course. One of my friends' ex-boyfriend did it. Oh Lord, I can't tell that story. But anyway, he was acting crazy, and Smegs acting like an escaped prisoner. I was thinking her acting like that. Oh my. That would be the front page of the tabs. Okay, the Harkles have received a wave of newfound compassion from royal fans after Netflix's latest season of The Crown was released over the weekend. Avid watchers have taken to social media as the fictionalized drama examines Princess Diana's miserable life behind palace walls, with many claiming it is now obvious why the Harkles felt they had no other option but to leave the royal family behind. One account tweeted, "If you weren't Team Meghan and Harry before, you definitely will be after watching this season of The Crown." Okay, this is the first thing this Meghan misunderstood Meghan author. There you go, 2 letters the same again. There, another one. But anyway, Sean Smith alleging that after this season of The Crown, you can't help but feel sorry for the Harkles. Last night, I finished watching the newest season of The Crown. I got through the 10th episode. I loved it. But let me say, it detailed how badly Charles treated Diana. You can equate that in no way to the Harkles' situation. Can you? Am I wrong, people? Viewers, let me know in the comments below, but I don't think I'm wrong. That was a loveless marriage, and Charles wanted to be with someone else, and Diana wanted it to work according to The Crown, what it was on there last night. Charles just wasn't into it, and I mean, how do you even equate that to the Harkles? You can't watch that and not feel sorry for them? It just doesn't compute. There's no equal sign there. Sorry, you're wrong. Let's move on to some more ridiculous allegations this fool has. The Harkles have been adjusting to their new life across the pond over the last 8 months. Now, Smegs, 8 months plus 1 more is the correct length of a pregnancy, not 13. They now live in California, have a historic Netflix deal under their belts, their own lavish mansion, and have signed up to the same high-profile public speaking agency as the Obamas. Away from the palace machine and the confines of royal protocol, the couple appeared to be enjoying their new freedom. However, according to biographer Sean Smith, it has not all been plain sailing. For instance, after the protests earlier this summer, which began in June would be earlier this summer, right? Yeah. Smegs wanted to speak out about injustice. Yet, Mr. Smith claims she hesitated. The old Smegs would have plunged in, speaking up defiantly about what was right. She regularly spoke out about humanitarian issues prior to joining the firm officially in 2018, but the relentless and ongoing negativity combined with the way the royal family ground down any hint that one of the firm might put their head above the parapet had inevitably had its effect. Oh, poor Meg. She had to spend that time in the royal family and couldn't speak her public opinion. Mr. Smith, she never shut up about her public opinion. Don't you remember when she was in Ireland and she talked about that one really hot button issue that starts with an A? Okay? And she definitely wasn't supposed to talk about that. She never quit voicing her opinion. She hasn't shut up for a moment through so-called friends, aka Sunshine Sacks. She's let her opinion about things be well known. So don't come at us with that because you're completely wrong about it. He continued, she was like a prisoner who would escape down a dark tunnel and surfacing needed time to adjust to the light outside. The dark tunnel in between Harry's ears, right? Okay, she needed time to adjust to the light outside. This is just like, give me a break, okay? I just said it. She never quit talking about her opinions. The royal had planned to make a special graduation address to her alma mater, Immaculate Heart, as the class of 2020 had been denied their traditional ceremony due to everything that's going on. Yet she was reluctant about incorporating any message about the civil unrest from what happened earlier this year into her speech to the graduates. She eventually changed her mind and agreed to go ahead with it, but acknowledged her hesitation in the speech. The Nothing of Nowhere said, I wanted to say the right thing and I was really nervous that I wouldn't, or that it would get picked apart, and I realized that the only wrong thing to say is to say nothing. This uncertainty is a far cry from Smeg's past comments where she admitted she had the gift of gab and claimed to avoid any media coverage of her life. She avoids media coverage of her life? I don't think so. That's all she does with her day. It's not like she has a real job. In her 2017 Vanity Fair interview, she said, I don't read any press. I haven't read any press for Suits. The people who were close to... Okay, she hasn't read any... didn't read any press for Suits. You're telling me she wasn't pouring through Google and the Hollywood trade papers trying to desperately find a good review of her acting performance in that atrocious mess? Yeah, okay. The people who are close to me anchor me in knowing who I am. The rest is noise. Well, there's a lot of noise, and you love the noise because that's what you wanted. You wanted to be the most famous person in the world and have all the noise, and then you complain about it. It is therefore surprising that, even though she is no longer a working royal, Smegs would hesitate to voice her real thoughts due to fears of backlash. You know, it's like when somebody gets handed a golden spoon and they complain because a golden spoon isn't good enough. Platinum is better than gold. They want it in platinum. That's the way this girl is. Do I even have the right to call her a girl? She's a worthless skank. Okay, her representatives revealed how the spotlight on her as the Nothing of Nowhere has taken a toll on her over the last few years. Smegs doesn't know what toil means. Toil means actually elbow grease. Smegs thinks elbow grease is nasty. Ooh, give me a Kleenex. In her privacy case against Associated Newspapers, they explained that she had felt prohibited from defending herself against negative publicity and unprotected by the royal institution despite being a popular senior royal. Yet the couple have not been immune to criticism since they left the royal front line either. As many times as Smegs has been around, she should have a few immunities built up. They have been scrutinized for keeping hold of the Sussex dukedom while no longer representing the Queen. Not just keeping hold of the dukedom, but using that dukedom to merch themselves on things like the Time 100 interview that they did a few weeks ago that they posed for that stupid portrait for. Not just that one. They do about 2 or 3 of them a week, and then podcasts where Harry talks about how he wants to do so much for the troops, and the Remembrance Day he couldn't help but lay the wreath in remembrance of everyone, and blah blah blah. Oh, these two are really disgusting, aren't they? It never ends. Others have pulled them apart for seeming to cash in on their royal status. See? That's what I was just talking about. Cashing in on that royal status. See? Valerie agrees. Did you hear her over there growling? Tell him, Valerie. They've cashed in on their royal status through their huge commercial deal with Netflix. Even so, the Nothing of Nowhere noted that she is happy to be home for so many reasons when speaking from her childhood state of California back in August. Number 1, tax reasons. Number 2, she can merch that title. Number 3, she can have huge cash deals with Hollywood producers. I'll leave it off there. She is also living much closer to her mother, Doria. That's the one I was talking about that was in prison, everybody. She was in prison for tax evasion. Now, who she has described as her best friend and who is thought to be looking after Archofficial. Well, if Doria is Smegs' best friend, it's just like my grandmother always said, birds of a feather flock together, so I guess jailbirds, right? Oh, that's a great job for Doria, isn't it? Watching Archofficial baby doll. She's on the payroll, might as well get her to do something. I guess she gives them a good dusting every now and then. Okay, the Harkles are not expected to return to the UK until next year. Indeed, the pro-Sussex biography Finding Funding and Funding Freedom even claimed that after a difficult departure back in March, the Nothing of Nowhere never wanted to set foot into anything royal ever again. Not set foot into it, no, but hands into their checking accounts, yes. Hands into their collection of jewels, yes. But not to actually have to do anything to have access to it, like carry out those icky royal duties. No. No, ma'am. Meghan Misunderstood by Mr. Sean Smith was published by HarperCollins in 2020 and is available, and I X'd over the link to buy it. If any of you buy this book, I feel very sorry for you, and you need to consult the Harkles app for mental health services. That's all I can say for you. I'm not going to be doing a review of it, and frankly, I don't want to waste one more moment of my time to them than I already do making these videos. I'm not going to read Meghan Misunderstood so I can get her point of view from another mouthpiece of hers. A few comments from the last video. The Queen fed up with Harry's hottie. Handbags hottie? More like handbags skank. Handbags is the only one who thinks she's attractive. And do you see what I replied? Smegs not attractive? Surely you jest. And she has such a lovely attitude to go with her attractive appearance, right? This vile woman will do anything for cash, aka quid. She already has done anything for quid as a yacht girl and golf caddy for rich clients. Write a book about the Harkles equals easy money. What a humanitarian What is humanitarian was she when she lied about her first husband, sent her rings back to her second husband, but most of all gave her first child up to her sister to rear, throwing hot tea over staff? Yipe, she is an evil human. Well said. Tiptoe through the tombstones? Vegan when it suits her, I expect. Vegan when it suits her? Was that meant to be a pun? Boy, the bits they are releasing on that book are making her sound so mistreated, and how hardworking she is. I think this is baloney. Work? Where? When? And I responded, all that time below deck. That was a lot of work. I bet she's got some permanent scars on those knees, too. And I also said, handbag has also cut a lot of ribbon. So, there you go. Lots of seamen on those yachts. LOL. Meghan's mirror is run by Meghan herself, and that's a fact. What have we learned today, everyone? Number one, if Smegs' eyes have a difficult time in the daylight, well, she might be a vampire, but surely there are a pair of sunglasses available on Meghan's mirror that can help. Number two, an historic Netflix deal isn't the only thing Smegs has creeping under that belt of hers. She also has a prosthetic bump. Number three, Smega will do anything for money? Every man who has sailed the high seas in the last 30 years knows that. Number four, writing a book about Mrs. Harkle would be easy money because everything about Mrs. Harkle is easy. Number five, a true humanitarian is kind and caring only in front of the cameras, and a nasty, vile human the rest of the time. Now that sounds exactly like Mrs. Harkle. I think that is 100% spot on. Number six, Smegs will be a vegan, a sausage swallower, or whatever you want her to be, if you have enough cash. And number seven, lots of seamen on the yachts, and even more on Smegs. Or should that be in Smegs? I think I put the wrong preposition there. Everyone, there's my P.O. box if you wanted to send treats to the dogs. They love it, and they'll appreciate you forever, I promise. And tips are also greatly appreciated, like Elizabeth R., not to be confused with Elizabeth Regina, sent. And there's my social media info as well. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit that notification button. I will see you all in the next one. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.